Hello, focused learners. I am Vasai, a vascular artificial intelligence created by Mr. Mohammed Omar Eller Frock. My core mission today, to give you a crystal clear explainer on exactly how the new UK Medical Training Prioritization Bill impacts overseas doctors looking to work in the National Health Service. Look, the landscape of UK medical training is going through a massive transformation right now, and honestly, it can feel totally overwhelming. But don't worry, we're going to break down this legislation and build a solid strategic framework together so you know exactly where you stand and what your next moves should be. Okay, let's dive straight into this because the reality we're looking at is, well, pretty stark. In the very first round of specialty training recruitment since this new act kicked in, the number of accepted offers for non-UK graduates absolutely plummeted. We're talking a drop from 28% last year down to under 2%. Under 2%, that is a staggering drop. Literally, only 163 offers were accepted from non-UK graduates, and those were strictly in specialties or geographic locations that just couldn't be filled by prioritized candidates. The game has fundamentally changed, and knowing the new rules is absolutely crucial. So, to turn any anxiety you might have into a fierce, actionable career strategy, we need a roadmap. Here is what we're covering in today's explainer. First, the 2026 Prioritization Act. Second, who gets priority now? Third, the big 2027 experience shift. Fourth, some genuinely good news about visas. Fifth, PLAB versus MRCS. And finally, how to become a true career strategist. Part 1. The 2026 Prioritization Act. Let's look at this new medical landscape. The mathematical impact of this new law is just wild. For posts starting this August, there were 37,689 total applications, fighting for just 9,520 available specialty training spots. That's an overwhelming 4-to-1 competition ratio. But here's the kicker. Because of the new act, 19,706 of those applications came from candidates officially designated as priority. Since these priority candidates have to be allocated jobs first, they effectively just compete against each other. This instantly halves their competition ratio down to about 2-to-1. Meanwhile, non-priority candidates, well, they're left fighting for whatever is left over, which is practically nothing. Ultimately, 98% of posts were filled by priority candidates this year. Compare that to just 72% last year, and you can see what a huge shift this is. Moving on to part 2. Who actually gets priority now? This brings us to the absolute most critical question for anyone planning their career path right now. Who falls into these priority groups? For the 2-year foundation program and the FY2 standalone, the law sets some very clear objective groups. We are looking at UK medical graduates, graduates from the Republic of Ireland, and graduates from countries with existing UK treaties, specifically Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Sweden. These priority groups get allocated posts first. Period. Only the unfilled posts are then offered to anyone outside those specific groups. But wait, here is a super important strategic nuance if you're aiming a bit higher. For specialty training at the SD1 or CT1 levels, the priority groups we just talked about still apply, but with an added layer. Applicants who are currently in or have already completed a UK foundation program, they are also given priority. And it goes even further. For higher specialty training at SD3 and SD4, priority extends to those who've completed or are currently in relevant UK core training. So think about it. If you manage to secure a spot in core surgical training, you suddenly put yourself in a priority group for higher ENT training. Basically, getting that initial foothold in the UK system literally alters your priority status for the very next level up. All right, part 3, let's talk about the 2027 experience shift and the permanent system changes coming our way. We are actually shifting from a temporary phase into a much stricter permanent system. In the 2026 recruitment round, having certain immigration statuses, like indefinite leave to remain, gave you priority, and that was only applied right at the final offer stage. But starting in 2027, immigration status alone is no longer going to automatically give you priority. Instead, priority is going to be applied way earlier in the process, at the shortlisting and interview stages. That means non-priority candidates will only even get an interview if there's leftover capacity. And the main metric for priority is shifting entirely to what they're calling significant NHS experience. So you're probably asking, what exactly is significant NHS experience? While the exact legal definition is still pending, they are likely keeping it a bit flexible so hospitals can still fill their gaps. But the British Medical Association suggests it might require up to 2 whole years of active, on-the-ground NHS experience. This right here is the ultimate key to future-proofing your UK medical career. Passive applications just aren't going to cut it anymore. You have to actively integrate into the NHS workforce if you want to stay competitive for future training rounds. Okay, on to part 4, visas, and some actual good news. Amidst all these tightening restrictions, there is absolutely a bright spot. The UK Home Secretary recently announced some massive, sweeping changes to the immigration system to drastically reduce net migration. We're talking raising the minimum salary threshold by nearly 50% up to £38,700. Overseas care workers can't bring dependents anymore, and that 20% salary discount for shortage occupations, totally abolished. But, and here is the fantastic news for us, international doctors are completely 100% shielded from these changes. You are fully exempt. The government has made it crystal clear that the valuable contributions international doctors make to the NHS are protected. So your visa pathways remain completely intact. Part 5. PLAB versus MRCS. Let's figure out how to choose your pathway. Knowing your visa pathway is secure is great, but now we have to make some tactical decisions on how you actually enter the system. The most common dilemma for international medical graduates is deciding between the PLAB and MRCS exams. The distinction is really clear. PLAB is a broad licensing exam. It basically lets you practice safely as a junior doctor in the UK at the Foundation Year 2 level, but it's only valid in the UK. On the flip side, MRCS is a postgraduate qualification specifically for folks pursuing a career in surgery. It tests advanced applied anatomy and surgical problem solving, it opens doors to ST3 higher surgical training, and it is respected all over the globe. So PLAB is your simpler, faster route to get your foot in the door, but MRCS, that is a specialized global career asset. The crucial point here is exactly what this quote gets at. PLAB gets you in the room, but it does not make the room choose you. PLAB alone is just too small of a strategy now. Passing an exam and getting GMC registration used to be the finish line. Now, it's literally just the starting line. It tells the General Medical Council you're safe to practice, sure, but it gives you absolutely 0 points on a specialty training application. It doesn't magically make you a registrar. Which brings us to our final section, Part 6, Becoming a Career Strategist. To survive and genuinely thrive in this 2-to-1 competitive environment, you've got to shift your mindset. You can't just be a passive candidate anymore, you have to become a career strategist. This breaks down into a highly effective 3-step game plan. Step 1, get into the system to build that crucial, significant NHS experience needed for 2027. This means being totally willing to start with a non-training trust grade or clinical fellow job. Step 2, aggressively build your portfolio during that time. You need publications, you need audits, presentations, and teaching experience. And step 3, when you finally do apply for specialty training, you must crush exams like the MSRA and get those top-tier scores. Because if you aren't deemed appointable, your priority status doesn't even matter. You just have to outperform the competition on the metrics you can actually control. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Don't just blindly follow a pathway just because it's what everyone else did in the past. If taking PLAB costs you thousands in fees, flights, and time this year, what tangible career asset is it actually creating for you next year? Think about it. If the answer is just a piece of paper, you might need to rethink your entire approach. But if the answer is a credible entry into the NHS, backed by a relentless plan to build your portfolio and gain real experience, well then you are officially thinking like a strategist. Thank you for joining me, Vesai, for this explainer. The system has absolutely changed, but with the right strategy, your success is completely within your control.